Let's go. Okay. Oh God, I look like shit. Let's do this.
Going on YouTube, Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook.
All that. Should I go put on mascara real quick? Yo, I look like ass. That's okay though. It's getting me in raw form. I mean, I don't have tacos and a margarita, but this is as close as it gets. But okay, I'm on the dating now. Okay.
This is a Modern Men podcast. I'm your host, JD Farrell. And today, Bree joins me again as we talk about soulmates. I was just watching this show and it got me pondering about soulmates, and so we had a little deep dive about the many different forms of soulmates and how they come in and out of our lives around different points in time. So enjoy this podcast, and I really hope you enjoy Bree. Very excited for a Modern Woman podcast to come out soon. So subscribe to this podcast and hers. We're both presented to you by the Modern Podcast Network. Today we are talking about soulmates. I am with Breeana Danell. How are you doing, Bree?
I'm doing fucking awesome. How are you?
Good. Did you watch? Yeah, did you watch the show The One by any chance? You didn't. You don't have to, but did you see it and take a look?
No, I have not seen that. Didn't you say that was on Netflix?
Yes.
Okay, so what's this about? Talk to me about this, because I don't even know.
Okay. Well, they feel like they can match people like soulmates by genetically matching them. Like everyone has a genetic soulmate, and they can find the person you're destined to spend the rest of your life with by your genes, and it's instantaneous. Like when you see this person, there's an instant connection. What are your feelings on that?
Okay, so I got kind of like side note, because I've watched something similar to this. Is this where they have to like meet different people and they know how many days they have with that person?
No, that was Black Mirror. That was.
Oh, okay. Well, never mind that.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is called The One. Yeah, different.
So basically they just know who their
ancestry and
okay.
those things, where you
so by your okay, I get what you're saying now. So by
you put a piece of hair into a thing, mail it to the company. They have a whole like 50 million people's DNA, and they're like, this DNA matches with this DNA, and you're meant to you will be a love compatible match based on y'all's DNA.
Okay, this is my first comment.
That's what I'm getting you off guard on.
DNA is compatible. I'm like, is this incestual? Like it's compatible because.
Thank you for bringing up because they say we are attracted to our sister and brothers and parents' pheromones. So it would be someone who honestly is closely genetically, it's like probably the most closely genetically related to you without being genetically related to you.
This is exactly how I feel about that then. That's a cult. This is why I say that. I was watching this TV show or whatever, right? And it's like, I've been watching it, YouTube snippets, whatever. It's called Escaping Polygamy. Well, one of like the biggest polygamous groups was the Kingston group, right? Okay. And they believe that their DNA and like their bloodline is like the purest, right? It's like the purest of the blood. So they literally have to marry like their first cousins, their uncles, and like weird shit like that. So when you say that they're going based off your DNA, that's where my mind immediately goes. So no, I do not believe that that's your fucking soulmate. That sounds ridiculous. Now, if I'm looking at it from if I can kind of step away from, oh God, that's incestual for a second. That's kind of like a dope thing, right? Though, like, because if you could just go,
it's a cult of like, hold on, yo, that's kind of dope.
But think about it. So if we like push the incestual ideology away from that for a second, right? Think about it. You could just go somewhere, give these motherfuckers a piece of your hair, and be like, yo, where's my fucking husband? Like, I'm done. Listen. People play too much. We're in 2021. Relationships is annoying as fuck. Finding somebody who's faithful and can keep it together. Yes, please take my fucking hair. As long as you're not pairing me with my cousin, then okay, that is kind of dope. But since it's DNA based, no. How do you
Yeah.
feel about it?
I mean, I feel like I like the idea of it. But I feel like DNA, what about the environmental factors? Like you can have this DNA strand, but people know different genes are expressed. Like if you were different traumatic experiences, maybe
Mhm.
now that this, it hurts your DNA. Like maybe you were going to be 6'2", but this happened in your life. So those genes never were expressed. Or maybe now that person went through this, so yes, her genes say this, but now she's a different person because this happened at this point in her life. Like, the genes don't, can your gene,
Coincide.
yeah, with the environmental factors that happen in your life. That's
Oh,
like my point.
that's interesting.
Yeah.
I didn't think about it like that. Honestly, that didn't even come into play. But
That's
that's definitely a different way to put that. But okay.
because that's what in psychology, like your brain, your strongest organ, they're like, there's the environmental factor and then there's the biological factor.
Mhm.
To where there's what you're born with and then your environment, which one is more important, and they're like both.
Because
So,
it's literally a cycle essentially when it comes to your environment and things like that. But it's even if
so
but
was
it's gonna happen like that anyway though, right? Because think about it, even if you don't give them your DNA, you still choose your partner, right? So you're still going to get their genetic fuck ups. Does that
well
make sense?
yeah, I kind of see what you're saying. I'm not
Oh,
saying,
no.
but you're saying like I accept their genetic fuck ups, or but yes, I see what you're saying in your pairing. But the good and bad about, like, you don't want good genetics, you just want to find someone love, and your
Yeah,
soulmate is about just finding someone who you can spend every day with. It's not about the genetic
that's true.
perfection.
Okay. So we can just
Yeah.
scratch that.
Yeah. Is Tone the genetic no.
Oh, okay, so
that
we're
you
gonna bring
that you're
him into
looking
it.
for? No,
Okay,
I'm sorry.
okay. No.
Yeah.
Well, so okay, so all that to say, so that's like an interesting way to think about how it could be.
Yeah.
So if that's the case, then what's your everybody has a different definition of soulmate,
Yeah.
right? So what's your definition of a soulmate?
Oh, okay. Before I go into mine, let me I'm gonna go to Webster first. Webster.
Okay.
They define a soulmate, let's just a person who is perfectly suited to another's temperament.
Okay.
Another, they also say
But
a person who strongly resembles another in attitudes or beliefs.
okay.
Yeah. And me personally, I would say a soulmate is just someone I connect with on a level that just like transcend the surface level. Like we have an unspoken bond between each other.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I like that. See, I go back and forth in weird places because I stand in two different like on two different sides because one, I believe that you have like multiple soulmates, right? It's
Yeah.
not just like one because I feel like a lot of people they hear the word soulmate and they think that it's just specifically a romantic person. But I don't think that there's necessarily just one. I think that you have multiple, right?
Right.
But then, and including thinking that you have multiple, I also think when it comes to soulmates, I've been like looking into a lot about reincarnation.
Okay.
So it's like, what if all the people, okay, let's say that you meet somebody, right? And you
Yeah.
just instantly like I guess what you would assume is your soulmate. You have this instant connection. You feel like you've known each other for lifetimes. What if you did? You know what I'm saying? Like, what if literally in every life that you come back, you just keep re-meeting these people and you feel like you've known each other for so long because in other lives you did? Maybe it was a romantic connection. Maybe they were your sibling. Maybe they were a cousin. Maybe they were a friend. I don't know, but I always thought that that was kind of interesting to think about that too, because maybe you just feel this strong and like undenying pull because it's happened in other lives. You're just reliving it. It's like deja vu.
Yeah. See, I would love that. And that sounds amazing. I'm thinking of also the negative reason of someone who maybe isn't going to like end a relationship because they feel this person is
Is
reincarnated.
there?
Yeah. They,
Yeah.
like, yes, it would be amazing. But what about those who use it as a crutch?
Oh yeah, that's not something that I would take to my everyday life. It's just something that I like to think on that I think is a really interesting aspect. And it's like, huh, what if? But yeah, definitely if you're like in a really bad situation, you're in an abusive relationship or something like that, or with somebody and you just think, oh, this is my soulmate. No, honey, that
That ain't.
somebody is beating on you and treating that's not your soulmate. I'm sorry. That's not no, it's just more of a what if?
Have you ever dated anyone and thought maybe they were reincarnated? Maybe you knew each other. You ever
In
been
another
any type of
life?
situation? Yeah, any situation, friend, family.
Hmm. I think definitely friendships. I've definitely had friendships where it's like, okay, so I had this friend that I was really close to for a really long time or whatever, right? And so when I had first met this person, it was literally like an instant connection. Like I met this person literally together every single day. Like after that, at that moment in time, just because of like the connection, the interest, the you feel like you've known that person for so long. It was like I genuinely felt like on some weird shit, like in another life, like this person was my sister
Yeah.
or like this person. And like I feel like my best friend now, that's like it's weird though, because at first I didn't think so, right? Because when we first met, we ain't like each other. But then, like, after everything was cool or whatever, and we really got to know each other, now she's been my best friend for what? I'll be 26 this year. So Emily and I have been best friends since we were 11. So, like, what, 15 years this year?
Wow.
That's crazy. But
Yeah.
yeah, so like now having this friendship for long, I just feel like we just have one of those bonds to where in another life or something it had to be, because it's just like one of those bonds that I don't feel like can be broken no matter what. We really don't even argue, but it's like if we do, I don't even have to worry about anything. I'm just like whatever, I'm really comfortable with it. But I think I've never been in a romantic relationship though and
I
felt
feel that way.
that. I thought that I did at the time because, like, when you're in an abusive relationship, you think, just like you stated earlier.
Yeah.
So here and there, but not, I don't think romantically.
No. Okay.
That's weird to me to like romantically have a soulmate, but we can, yeah.
Yeah. I feel like that's the opposite of what most people think too. They only assume that their soulmate is someone romantic.
But see, that's what's weird to me though. It's just, I don't want to say weird, but it's just like, okay, it goes back to my whole point of I believe that we have multiple, like it's just the fact that you just have one person that's your soulmate for like
Yeah, let's touch on that. Okay.
yeah,
We're gonna
like
talk about that.
you get into a relationship, you be with the man for 3 months, that's my soulmate. Since you broke up the next week, what do you mean?
I mean, have you always thought that since even high school days?
No.
That's
When I was younger, I think I had definitely like a more naive mindset, and I just really, really craved love. I was really like
yeah.
emotionally abused and a lot of other things. So I wanted that. So I wanted to believe, oh, I'll just have my soulmate, I'll meet somebody, and then I don't have to worry. Like
Yeah.
I don't have to worry about
It's
anything else.
easy. It's over after that.
Yeah,
Like, yeah, I've
done.
learned
Like
nothing.
there's somebody out there that's for me, like forever. And now I'm just like, I see myself like, don't get me wrong, in the relationship that I'm with in now, like I see myself with this person for like ever. Like I intend on spending my life with him. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
I feel like I have too many different people that are soulmates to just narrow it down to being romantic. I don't think it's just one person.
Yeah.
What do
I
you
agree.
think?
I agree. Yeah. Because I when I was younger, I definitely didn't have that mentality.
Oh,
But
so you never had I'm gonna have. I feel like that's fed to little girls, because
no,
you.
no. I
Oh,
had your mentality when I was a child.
oh, you did. Oh,
Yeah.
okay, okay, gotcha. I was about to go on a whole other rampage, but we're
Well,
on the
it
same page.
definitely is. I would say though, not trying to put myself in a little girl's shoes, but I feel like maybe
Yeah,
your wedding day is more romanticized because I was excited for that, but I feel like planning that whole day, I don't know. I'm again speaking for
here's
a girl. Tell you.
my opinion on that though. So, like, yes, you're right. When you're younger, you dream of like finding your husband. You want to have the wedding. You want to, you know what I'm saying? You want to like have the whole get out, right? But when I say that I think that we're fed that when we're younger, we watch movies like Disney movies and it's princesses and they're always looking for their prince and they find their prince. And so you grow up thinking, or like it's like when somebody tells you when you're younger that boys are being mean to you because they like you. Like just different.
But that's what we did.
No, absolutely it's true, but I feel like it's more expected of us to growing up once the fairy tale soulmate, you find your prince kind of thing. Does that make sense?
Yeah, literally a girl I hung out with, what, like 2 days ago. We were just hanging out and she was talking about how she was like, her whole life, she just, no, I just have to sit here. The guys will come to me. And like, because I told her, like, for the first time in my life, I'm okay not getting married. Like, I was just thinking late night, smoking, just in my thoughts. And I was
Yeah,
like, I'm okay not getting married. And I think it's the same with anything. Once you're okay not trying to achieve something, yes, it'll happen. But I'm just like, I'm tired of the everything. Like, I've been tired of it for years, but like, I just, and God, that's like the mentality of guys. Yes, y'all are meant to be the damsel and just wait for your Prince Charming. But then at the other hand, we're supposed to have this foundation built for you and prepared and have a back and be ready for you in open arms and be your savior. When that's
yeah,
so a lot of pressure on men who are then not expected to show vulnerability in achieving this, patriarchal achievement.
absolutely. No, I agree with that 100% too. It puts pressures on, not to say that growing up as a little girl, there's more pressures. I think there are in certain other aspects, but it's both for both ways because you guys aren't allowed to express it.
Yeah.
Or,
Or it's not widely accepted if we do express it.
exactly. You're considered weak, or I don't feel this way, but
I know, yeah.
you know what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
Well, I do again agree. We do have multiple soulmates now as I got older.
yes.
And I just think not, of course, they come in different forms and we'll go in the different forms, but even
Okay.
just the standard, like romantic, I think to think that the same person, because I'd never like to minimalize anyone's love. So I'm not going to minimalize a 16-year-old's love and heartbreak.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
The person.
absolutely. I don't want to minimize that. It's just once you kind of, and who knows, some people do find the person that they literally spend the rest of their lives with, but a majority of the time we're not functioning on the level, our brain's not fully formed to even, not to say that it doesn't happen and shit. I wish it would have happened to me. Fuck. You know what I had to take to do to get here? So, but yeah, no. Okay, so as an adult, you don't think it can just be narrowed down to, but see, if we don't believe that necessarily that it's a soulmate, then do you believe in being with somebody for the rest of your life? Because if you're with somebody for the rest of your life, isn't that technically you're romanticized? You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, I do. Sorry, I was pausing for intensity. I was trying to do that rock stare, but
oh, nice. Oh, I'm just kidding.
But no, I'm very polygamous. I think we need multiple. No, I'm just kidding. I'm very.
I spit out my beer. I was like, wait a minute.
I
Not that anything's wrong with it. I just wasn't expecting it.
I tried that in New York. Everyone, they are way more progressive in doing that. I think I don't think the person you love at 16 is the same person you want at 25 and at 35. It can be, but you have to both be willing to grow. You remember how we were saying earlier about how we thought it was easy?
Mm-hmm.
Like, no, this is going to be work. And yes, it may be easy. Like, yeah, you're 26 now, but then when you're 34, it's not going to be just as easy as it is for you in the same relationship. You're still going to have to work at it.
Oh, absolutely. It's never a fairy tale when it comes down to that. It's always going to take work. It's always going to take that extra effort. But like you said, it's all about if you can grow together. If you can't grow together, so maybe that is something to think about. You know what I'm saying? If you can grow together with somebody, is that another form of a soulmate?
Well, yeah, because
that's what it is.
Yeah, it is. There's soulmate for the moment, and then there's the soulmate for the, I also think
long term.
Yeah, if I had a 10-year like relationship, marriage, well, maybe we had kids, I don't think that is all a failure. I know with this day and age, like, yes, I wish I could find the person to spend the rest of my life with, but
Mhm.
10 good years of saying like you love this person and you can like
And
depart happily and not with animosity and stuff, I think, you know,
that's an accomplishment in
yeah,
itself for real because that's a long time in this day and age,
yeah,
especially like 10 years is a long. It seems like it, but then it's like
yeah.
in retrospect, life moves so fast. It's really not, you know?
Yeah, because life does. We don't need to go on how
That's
fast
a different
life.
tangent for a different day.
All right. Now let's define these three types of soulmates. Okay. We have
Okay.
teachers, what friends, and lovers.
Mhm.
All right. We're gonna start with teachers. Do you have a lot of teachers that were your soulmates in life? People that taught you a lot, mentors?
Absolutely. I think I've had like a couple and it's weird because they were soulmates for those periods, but it didn't seem like for life. But I've had multiple different soulmates that I feel like were my teachers. I had an English teacher in high school, actually two of them. Ironically, both of like if it was actually in a school setting, both of my high school English teachers, I learned so much from them, not even just about writing papers and stuff
Yeah.
like that, but just feeling better about who I was as a person. And I really felt like they were put in my life for a reason at that time because that's when I growing up once I moved back to Oklahoma at that point in my life from the time that I was in middle school all throughout high school until I left was when I literally needed the most love and support that I could get. And so I found that with some of my actual teachers. But then I feel like I don't even know if this is like a weird way to put it, but my mom, like obviously that's it. She grew me,
Yeah.
absolutely right. But she taught me the most. So she's my soulmate in multiple ways, not just that, but definitely. Anything that I take an endeavor in on and somebody takes the time to like in one aspect you're one of my soulmates like when it comes to this world then I have my best friend who teaches me about anything and everything on a daily basis whether it be about what's going on in the world to if I want to buy a home to anything and everything so I definitely think that I have multiple teachers who I considered soulmates for periods of time absolutely.
But mom definitely at the top of that pyramid is what I got from that.
Oh, 10, 10, yes. But how could she, I mean, it's different for different people. I, was blessed enough to have that situation to where I have a very, very good relationship with her. So like it's really nice that I can just call her up and be like, yo. But yeah, that's where I stand on that. Have you had any? What do you think? Do you think it's a
I mean,
thing?
I I loved your description of your teachers. It helped me definitely even open my mind to more because I was only thinking of one. I had one in mind, and then
Oh, really? Well, let's
yeah,
touch base on the one that you had in mind,
okay. The
and then tell
one
me the other things. Yeah.
it's almost sad. It was when you were describing your mom and the person becoming. It was my freshman year of college. I worked at this nut and bolt shop, and
Uh-huh.
this guy in the back was maybe like 28 or 30 when I was 17, and he was seriously kind of the person who really not taught me how to be a man because I don't know what all teaching, but like taught me to like kind of demand respect. Like I'm becoming 18, I'm about to be an adult. I'm a
Mhm.
respectful person that puts out this type of work and energy. And like, if you're gonna put up, what's the saying about like you put out what you put in or something
Mhm.
like that.
What you put
And
out, you get back. Mhm.
yeah. And he just kind of taught me like just because this person may be 35 in this position, there's nothing intimidating. You're still as soon as you hit 18, you're an adult, you're a grown man. Don't let people kind of disrespect you and sense of just belittling you and things like that. And it was just gave me a lot of self-confidence. Random
Yeah.
dude working at a nut and bolt shop. Yeah.
You would be surprised. It's really weird. I definitely know that everything happens for a reason. So it's like we have teachers in very just in my thought process in very, very many different aspects. I don't think it's just as simple as here, I'm paid to be here every day teaching you because this is what you have to do. But just everything in life, there's reasons that those people had to teach you those things. Because think about where, if you hadn't met this man in your nut and bolt shop, do you think that you would have a different outlook on some things for real?
Oh, definitely, definitely. Like just in my own self-confidence, it just wouldn't be where it was without him.
That's dope. I love that. I
Yeah.
love that when you can have those encounters with people. Like, it's really empowering and uplifting. Okay, so we definitely know we
But
got
then,
some teachers. Go
but
ahead.
then because of you, there's other teachers. I can't just,
Oh, go ahead. Yes.
yeah,
Let me hear
that's,
the rest. Talk to
I
me.
didn't even, yeah, my mom gave, because of her, like seeing, even though it was a short time, only like 6 years living at home adopted, but
Uh-huh.
just seeing her busting her ass working and still doing those household duties showed
Mhm.
me like, one, that's not what I expect out of a woman, to still, make damn good money and still come home, do the laundry, cook dinner, do all that. It makes me have a higher expectation of myself,
Yeah.
just knowing what I've seen from her and what she's capable of. Like, I need to do better.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. It's always that little extra. I feel like a mom's a good soulmate if you're like blessed enough to actually have that in your life, because you really learn and grow a lot from that. And like you said, you seen and having that appreciation for her, something awoke within yourself to where it's like, okay, I have to do better. And you know that when and if one day you do want to have a partner, you want to get married or whatever it is that you need for the future, you know what you need to, because we don't live in the day and age anymore to where y'all go out and you work to pay the bills and everything and we have to stay home.
Yeah.
It literally has to be one of those things where it's both people now.
Yeah.
And by you seeing that, it's going to help you a lot, because unfortunately a lot of people today believe that, that's a different story for a different time. But I love that she was able to teach you that just in the short time that you were there, because a lot of people don't get that lesson.
Yeah. And then some other teachers definitely, I mean, my friend Steven, he teaches me a lot, but it's just other people I kind of come in contact with, because I'm very ignorant to, or I definitely was a lot more ignorant to issues, and trying
Yeah,
to be more open to criticism, because that used to be a problem that I did not like.
I remember.
So,
I've seen some criticism go down anyway.
yeah. All right. Let's move on then to some friends. That's what, yeah.
Okay, I want you to talk about the friendships first.
I mean, the list is, because my family is non-existent. My friends have always been my family. So like this part of Soulmates connects the deepest with me, because everywhere I've lived, I've had to like create a group that was just like, I felt like super close, super bonded. And I don't know why, I don't know how, like it always evolves like that.
Yeah.
It just does. And I mean, it's too many lists to count. There was it's obviously it starts in the workplace, but when I was in the hospital, like even that corpus had a little nucleus, and then B-Dubs, Buffalo Wild Wings, where we met, like that was one of the best times ever, that friend group, just because,
I love that group.
yeah. And that's what we all hated, the job. We hated the hours. We hated everything. The man, yeah, like what? The fucking everything, the outwork, like everything about it. But I think like till we die, we will still all be connected somehow. Like everybody through somehow, like those people be connected. Like whether we hate each other, like each other, don't matter. And
That's actually one of the stories that I was going to talk about once you finish your friendships, was when we went to our coworker's house. That we'll talk about that in a minute. But yeah, I'm glad that you brought that up, because that's important. But yes, anyway.
but yeah, they're all the only one that, well, not the only one, but my friend Steven, who I was adopted, and then I met him like 2 years after I was adopted. So I know him pretty much as long as I know anyone in my life. And
Yeah.
obviously that friendship is like a brother. And I'm very good at just from moving and going on, I guess I get really invested fast, and then I'm okay if they dissipate. Like I treat them for I treat friendships better than my love soulmates. Definitely. I wish I probably would treat my love soulmates more like my friendships.
Mm-hmm.
Like I really enjoy them in the moment and have as much fun in the moment with them and get as much out of them. And then I understand when they go away that people move on and life happens. But if they do reappear, like it's even better because the history you have with friends is something that you can't re trace, reconnect with someone else. Kind of
Yeah,
why it's hard to compete with an ex-lover because someone who you have history with, it's just hard to compete with that.
exactly. It's basically like starting over, and sometimes you just don't have that connection again.
Mhm.
So it's a lot easier, I think, having friend soulmates, like you said, versus relationship soulmates. Because, well, if you're social with people like we are, I'm sure there's some people who's like friendship
Yeah.
soulmates.
No, it's me, myself, and I, my dog, and then my boyfriend. No.
Literally, yeah, that's it. That's it, Chief.
So, what are some of your friends, soulmates that you've had over the years?
Oh, okay. So definitely my best friend, the one that I was talking about since I
Emily.
was born, and that is yeah, Emily is literally my best. That is like my soul mate. Like nobody compares to this bitch. Okay, like it's just what it is. Number one, forever and always, right? So that's definitely my
Oh,
biggest soul. Go ahead.
to cut you off. Sorry. With Emily, do you? Because I feel this way a little with Steven. Do you wish like when you're like 80, like even if you're married, like let's just like leave our spouse and go live in a house together when we're old? Because I'd rather just hang with you all day.
So literally, this is so funny that I can't believe that you're bringing this up. I'm just gonna fucking say it. I'm just gonna speak on it. So it's hilarious, right? So when we were younger, we were always just like, fuck this. Like, we're basically just gonna grow up. We're gonna get like government married. We're not gonna be together. Like, you still do your thing. I still do my thing. Like, you have your man friends, I have my man friends, but we come home, we be together, and that's just what it is. Like, we don't want to deal with the bullshit. We don't want none of the fuckery. Now, she just recently got engaged, so I can't argue with that. So I'm like, okay, but I'm just gonna live in your basement for the rest of forever. That's so, yeah, but it was, like I said, it was like an odd start to it because I would have never thought that it would have evolved into a soulmate friendship just because of the initial reaction, but or the initial meeting, and just like I've always been very sensitive. She's a Scorpio. She's very straightforward. She's very direct. She's from Philly, so straight to it. You know what I'm saying? And me, I cry over everything. So of course initially it was like, what is going on? But then once you kind of like onion, you peel back the layers, you know. But yeah, so that's definitely my longest, I guess you could say, soulmate friendship. In a weird way, I don't know if this counts, but like my cousin Maddie, right? So it's like weird because she's my cousin, but she was adopted into the family when she was 7 weeks old.
Okay.
So, but literally, it's, yes, we grew up together and everything, but if you see me and my cousin together, it's just like we're literally the same human. It's crazy, but we have the same like wavelength. We connect on every single level. I feel like that's something that's a very important in friendship. We have just such an understanding when it comes to each other. We're both very empathetic, so we just know like how to work with each other. I don't know. It's just we're always in sync. I didn't talk to this girl for years, which that's a conversation that when my podcast comes out, she and I are going to sit down and we'll talk about it. Yeah, we've been planning that, but we didn't talk for years. And I'm talking like 10 years, probably over that, almost over 10 years. And then I saw her one day and it was like nothing ever happened. It was like I talked to her every single day over the past 10 years. It's just, you never skip a beat. So those are, I think, two of like my most important friendship relationships. But then in a weird way, my significant other, it's weird because I see him more as, even though we're romantically involved and I want to stay that way, but the way that our connection is, I feel like I have more of a friendship in him than anything. That was something that was weird with us because
Oh no, I love that though.
Yeah, I feel more comfortable in saying that this is the person that I want to spend the rest of my life with, but you're like my friendship soulmate. Like I genuinely have a true friend in him. I tell him everything. He's just there to listen. He's not judgmental. He's very supportive and is always in my corner. Even when we weren't together, I could always depend and count on him. So we have a very, very strong foundation in that. So I believe that he's my friendship soulmate. That's fucking weird, but that's just a couple.
No, that's a good couple. I think that's a good couple.
Thank you.
You
I
are.
appreciate it.
Yeah.
So what are your
So you want to move on to the bad now? We're moving on to the bad. Are you done with your good?
I'm done with my good, yeah.
Yeah.
Are you
Yeah.
good? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you want to kick off the bad?
Yeah, let's get
Let's talk about it.
Talk about it. Talk.
Put the beer down. Bree's getting lit. Okay, anyways.
See, and most of my friendships end good. They end very casually. Like time just, like I said, it's a river. One river flows this way in and out. Sometimes our streams cross, they stay down, and then we go separate ways. But I had this friend, and no.
We'll call him. What do you want to call this friend? We'll give him a name.
Let's call this friend Tom, because Tom created Facebook, right? He was the white guy on Facebook.
I'm Dick and Harry. No, but yeah, no, Tom was the white guy that created. No, MySpace.
MySpace, that's what I was thinking of.
Yeah.
MySpace, sorry. Yeah.
No, you're good.
Mark Zuckerberg. So Tom. Tom, grew up in Oklahoma, a little suburb in Oklahoma. Average middle class family, white guy, 6'3". And when I moved here, we were one of those connections instantly. Like first night, I trained him at work. We went out, had drinks, partied, like literally first night we met. And then we hung out a little bit after that, but then he left the job. And then like 6 months later, we reconnected again. And then ever since then, we're best friends, traveled, everything, hung out 4 or 5 times a week, worked together for like 4 years. And, most soulmates, you think friends or not, just dissipate. And I'm very, very cordial, but this one ended badly in terms of just because it just sucks when you care about someone and you want to see them succeed and want them to, do the best and the best for them and their family. And it's just when they're on a self-destructive path, whether it's, I don't know about his alcohol, but everyone else will comment on his alcohol. I'm like, I can never comment on someone else's, choices. Like if they can control themselves and handle themselves, that's on them. Like how they say the first step in admitting you have a problem, or first step in having a problem, is admitting you have a problem.
Yeah, that's the hardest part, for real. It really is.
Like I can't tell him he has a problem. Like that's up to him. And with different life decisions, with different choices, he would never admit that being a white man gave him any privilege.
That's enough to do the damage to no longer, because like you said, you can be empathetic and hear what he's going through and see, even if like you said, you can't observe, say that he had an alcohol problem, but you could observe and see like, okay, like I know you're going through certain things, I'm still gonna be here. That was the self-destructive path, exactly. But lost my train of thought. I hate when this happens. That's okay. You see that they're on a self-destructive path, and then at that point it hurts the most because you would do anything that you could to help, but they don't want to help themselves. And when you don't want to help yourself in that situation, it's really unfortunate because you do have a choice to stay in that situation, but a lot of the times you go down that path as well, because once you're in, so that's rough to have somebody, you empathize with them, but when it comes down to something that's real life, something that you have to deal with every day, that's something, you know what I'm saying, over the color of your skin, and you can't, at least hear what you have to say and be understanding about that that's the point that I was trying to get at, is that he couldn't even be respectful enough to hear who's supposed to be his best friend. That's who you're supposed to listen to the most and be there for and support. You don't have to agree, but that's something that it's not agree to disagree. And we can be fine. Like, no, you either with us or you against us, and there's no in between.
Oh.
But anyway, sorry,
Yeah.
I had to say that.
Oh no. And we all know what happened in 2020. We know what happened from Oklahoma to New York to Portland to LA.
Yeah, we was live in this bitch too.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to leave y'all out. But yeah, and then he also, I remember just saying that he couldn't prove it. He couldn't prove that like white privilege existed.
How could he not?
Because you can't measure it. That you can't. In his definition of measuring it, they can find other ways to measure it, but that obviously doesn't fit. And then obviously with what went on, I just went from having someone who I traveled more with than anyone else in my life, texting endlessly days a week, like up and night, group text, group everything, to I've been here for 8 months now, and we saw each other once because we saw each other in public, like a mutual friends, and said hi. And
then that was like, oh, that's the worst too. Once you have like that bond and that relationship and that friendship, that's the worst part, that when you get comfortable in having like a soulmate friendship with somebody, and then like it's the most awkward thing when you go back out in public, you see them like months later, and it's like you literally feel like you're with a stranger. Like, did I ever? And that's weird.
Yeah. So get into yours. You all your soulmate friendships can't end pretty. You know, they
no, do you think I'm just messy?
I told you most of them.
All your friendships just can't end peaceful, girl. So what's your
having these lifetime achievement award on friendships here? So I'm like, okay, you got to burn some.
That's one. That's it. I feel like all my other who I felt like were my soulmate friendships just like didn't work out. One of like my like most favorite soulmate friendships like didn't work out. I was best friends with this person for like over 5 years. That's literally somebody that I was with from the second that I met her. Every single day after that, if we weren't together, we were texting, or it literally went as far as not only was I with you every single day, but we're working together. When we're not working together, we're going back home together. If we're going out, we're going out together. If you know what I'm saying. And that whole situation had to unfortunately come to like I never wanted it to get to that. I think that's what's the hardest, is that and I'll say this, I just need to make this very like apparent and like known, just like right now, that I have like, and I know that you don't either in your story, but I just want to make it clear, like I have like no ill intent versus this person. I miss this person very much. Like I love this person with my whole heart. If this person ever were to reach out to me and they're like, hey, you know, just like, how are you, or I need to talk to you, like I'll be there. Like it's nothing like that. So I'll still always have that love in that sense. But unfortunately, like there was a reason, you know, that I had to leave Oklahoma and, you know, come move out here to Richmond. And I really had to kind of get my life together and everything. And the path that I was going down when I was in Oklahoma with this person was really destructive. And it's not that person's fault. I make my own decisions.
Same, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like we make our own decisions, but it's just, I had to come to the point to where I had to realize, hey, this isn't what I want to do. I love going out. I love having a good time. I love going to party, but it's just like, I can't be like this all the time. And I was just so up and down and everything. So when I had to separate myself from that, I think that was just like the hardest thing. That's honestly, I've never had a friendship end. And this is me being real. I've never in my life had a friendship end that hurt. I was just like, oh, you're a weird
exactly
bitch.
What I just told you. Yeah.
Like I was just like, oh, you're a weird bitch. Like, no, I don't want no parts. But that one, that fucking got me, because, you know, like I had said earlier, this person in the good relationship aspect, I literally genuinely, and I know it sounds crazy, but I really believe that in another life, like that was my person.
Yeah.
Just because of that connection that we had. So it really sucks when those come to an end because you almost feel like you've sort of like when you're going through a breakup. You have to start over. You kind of feel like you've lost it. There was nights that I was crying myself to sleep. Like, and I don't do that over losing friendships.
Yeah.
So it had to be something more than just like a normal friendship, you know what I'm saying? Like you are invested into that person, you feel their emotions, they feel yours, and it's like if they're upset, you soak away their pain and vice versa, or just so. And friendships like that can be good and that they can be bad. It's just unfortunately I was caught up in drugs and that just don't mix.
Yeah.
But that person was always down, you know what I'm saying? Like, it ain't good, but that bitch was with the shit.
See, that's what we need. There should be a scale. There's temporary soulmates, short term, and then long term.
Oh, damn. I wish we would have thought of that earlier. That would have been a good.
Yeah.
That makes sense, though. Because there's people, it's almost like they say, and it makes perfect sense now, but when they always say that people in your life are, and they're for a season or for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like you have that person, like, when before I had to end mine, that person, those 5 years of my life that I was best friends with this person, and this is nothing to do with her, but just with what I was going on within myself, was the worst. I was miserable. I was going through a lot. Like I was doing drugs. I was kind of all over the place, So I truly believe that if in that time that I didn't have her, I don't know that I would have made it.
Yeah. And I'm the same way. Like you articulate it way better than me, but everything about why I had to disconnect my friendship with Tom was about me. And it was, yes, we connected and I needed him at that moment. But then the person I was becoming, I didn't like it. And so I had to remove myself knowing the path I was leading, that I didn't want to do the things and be the person I was knowing being attached to Tom.
Exactly. I think that's where it came from too. And you use the exact perfect wording. It comes down to you build. So it's literally, again, the definition of a soulmate, but you build an attachment to that person. Yeah. So it's very hard to separate from that. And sometimes it's ugly, but you don't wish them anything ill. But when you come to a certain point in your life, it's rough.
Yeah.
That's so. Go ahead.
Oh, I was like, let's get on the good. Let's talk about the good now. Let's talk about love. Let's talk about those people we, fell deeply and hopelessly in love with, even for like 2 weeks.
And you thought you're gonna embarrass me like this on a social platforms.
I'm going to embarrass myself. Okay, I'm gonna embarrass myself.
Okay.
You got to start. You kick it off. You kick off some. We can even tit for tat. You want to say who?
Yeah, I have a couple. Are you ready? Look, listen, y'all. Everybody's gonna be so annoyed. They're gonna watch you editing every 2 seconds. I'm flipping my hair back and forth. I can't make a decision. Okay.
You ain't the stallion. You are not the stallion over here with that hair. All right.
That bitch. Okay. So I have a couple. I guess when you said when it comes to scales, obviously they were temporary. Let's start with like my first love, right? So I thought my first love was a soulmate. I met my first love, ironically, as well when I was 11. So I met my best friend Emily the same year that actually, me and this person are friends now. I'm gonna just say his name. Fuck it, I don't care. But no, we're just not gonna name drop. Anyway, so I met my cousin Maddie that I was telling you about earlier. So I used to come and visit Oklahoma when I lived in Georgia every like summer, right? So when we came back for the summer, I would visit my family and then we would do like church camp. And then when I moved back permanently to Oklahoma when I was like 11, so it was at that time, I literally religiously went to church camp every summer because my grandmother that I lived with, she worked there. She would do like the concession stand and would go out with her church, whatever. So anyway, That's how I met my first soulmate, is because of my cousin, which I can't go too much into detail because this ties into why we didn't talk for a long time.
Okay.
So, but my cousin introduces me to who I think was my first soulmate as a little boy, and he became my best fucking friend, right? So she introduced us, and we're like inseparable. And it was weird because he and I were inseparable, but he and her were dating. So, like, she was really shy. He was really shy. I made him come out of his shell.
Now you're trying to take credit for the man's growth?
He'll tell you. Okay. So, anyway, it goes from every year we would literally wait like for each other to come to church camp, wait for that person. We'd be looking everywhere trying to find each other. So it eventually led from like church camp to we would talk to each other like every single day on the phone, and we were just inseparable. So eventually, as we got older, I was right before I turned 15. So I was 14. So at this time, we had been like inseparable best friends for 3 years. Anyway, we start to become like romantically interested. So I'm like, oh, it makes sense now. This is my soulmate. I met this person, you know, like when I was younger, like we're best friends. Like we were meant to be together.
Yeah.
That's just what it was. And so, yeah, I genuinely, my dumb ass thought for a long time that because of that, so that was my first love soulmate. It was my childhood best friend. Thought it was more than what it was. It wasn't. That ended really, really bad. We actually didn't talk for years. We just recently, we started talking again like a couple of years ago, but I actually hung out with him a couple of times last year before I moved out here. Now I have like, no, it's weird because I thought that was my soulmate, but seeing him again, I had no romantic, like creepy. So it really freaked me out. Like I was like, I let you touch me. Like, and I'm not even trying to say that to be like a dick, but like,
yeah.
it's really bad. Okay. So that was my first romantic soulmate that I thought was a legitimate soulmate. My second one was probably my most serious, first adult serious relationship. I had met him when I was a senior in high school, and he was like older or whatever. So, and we just had like an instant connection too. We really connected on a lot of things, music, ideologies. We had very similar interests and things like that. So when we had met, it just was one of those things where it felt like we had literally known each other again in previous lives, because you just have such an instant connection. Even though you barely know this person, you feel like it's much deeper and that you've known them for a long time because you're so comfortable. So I definitely thought I got with him. He'll tell everybody that I was 18, but it was a couple of weeks before I turned 18. He'll say that because he was 24, but that's another story. So I thought so, and I think at that time too, being with somebody who is much older, it was a lot easier to be. I was very naive, very easily manipulated. So I thought he was my soulmate until that really ended badly. And then after that whole situation, that's just kind of where I was like, I don't know if I feel like it's a romantic kind of thing, because even when I met
soulmate.
Yeah, because even when I met Tone, it was one of those things too. I just immediately was so comfortable, and still to this day, like I literally have never met somebody that I can be that myself around. Like he literally does not give a fuck. Like I'm just completely 100% real with him. But it's just weird to think now. I just like soulmate. I'm like, not no. Like you're my soulmate, but not like I don't think that I have like a soulmate.
When you think of soulmate, it makes you think just like this knight in shining armor, just meant to be last. No, it's just someone who I can just be me around. Like it has nothing to do with like what you're gonna do. It's just like, can I be comfortably myself?
Yes.
Just real about anything.
I guess when you put it that way, yes. So then, like, I would think that he was my soulmate, but I think it's just weird to say he's my soulmate and, oh, we were destined
Yeah,
to
when you put it
just,
like that. Yeah.
yeah, like
It
meet
was
and be together until the end of time. Like
yeah.
if it's written in the stars, like that's where like I get
Yeah.
weird with that. So when it's in the aspect of your soulmate, somebody who you can find a friend in, who you can be yourself around romantically, then yeah, like I feel like any relationship that you're in, then right, wouldn't that technically be your soulmate? Because that's somebody you feel comfortable. Well, not everybody feels comfortable in their relationships.
You know how many people don't feel. That's why I love studying relationships. And the more we get into it, I'm like, a modern man's gonna be focused on the man's side and their view on relationships. It's because so many. That's why I think the most mind-boggling thing. This is a mid shift. Is how people can sleep next to someone, not even for like a day, a night. It can be years, and like have so much not just resentment, but just not being able to communicate their feelings and how they like feel about themselves, like their own insecurities, how they feel about the other person. And you sleep next to this person and have kids with this person. That and uh that literally, like, it blows my mind, because that is my, besides having a kid with like a person you met at like the nightclub, like that's my
I
number
need
one.
baby making.
Like that's number one thing I don't want to end up with, like a random person having to co-parent. Number two is just even still being like in just like a day-to-day marriage, like a business agreement, which I feel like, at least I'm generalizing, has to at least be 20% of marriages
Mhm.
just that are just business agreements that
Yeah, it's just, I mean, essentially, in retrospect, like it is just a piece of paper,
yeah.
right? It really is what you make it. But yeah, there's a lot of people. I know some people, who know some people who are in marriages who only stay with these people because it benefits them in some way or the other, whether that person's making so much money and you're getting so much a month. And it's like, I don't care what you do, like, as long as I'm taken care of. And then there's other situations where their benefits,
Yeah.
their medical, so on and so forth. So, yeah, I think it's safe to say that some people it's just a contract.
But even the kids, like when people say, like, I didn't leave him for the kids, I consider that a business agreement, because you're not staying in the marriage for yourself. You're not staying, because a marriage is about you and that.
Oh,
Those are, I'm not talking about the superficial marriages. That's probably maybe 20% too. But I'm talking about like my parent, as soon as I was a senior and then they got divorced, the affair came out. So obviously there was a lot of stuff under the water before then. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't just like snap.
happen like that.
Yeah.
It's a lot that comes to the surface. So, what are some of your love soulmates? I'm dying to hear that. That's all I have, like, as far as who I thought was genuine. We were my young mindset, destined to be together. It was written in the stars, soulmates. But yeah, and so where I am now, it's just like I feel like I found a friend more than anything.
Yeah.
He was
And
he's good though. We good in that area. But
don't love that. Love that you found them. The 5 year, we'll do love that. Love, everyone needs a healthy sex life. I don't want to shame
oh
nobody.
yeah, no, don't slut shame me. You slut shaming me now. This is the second time in 24-hour period.
Shaming if you're having sex with your boyfriend. I'm just saying, I was gonna say love that, and I'm like, don't love that, but I'm like, yes, I do love that. Everyone needs a good sex life. Okay,
Absolutely.
but up until recently, like I can't fathom a 5 year relationship yet.
I've
Like
only known you that there's only one relationship since I've known you, and we've known each other for 6 years.
going on 6, yeah.
Yeah, going on 6 because I met you because our 5 year anniversary is in May, and I met you right. Okay,
Yeah.
so yeah, I've only ever known one person, and it was when we worked at Buffalo. I won't say who, but you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
That's the only relationship that I have ever seen you in.
Yeah. And it was because part of why that previous friendship I was talking about, the self-destructive, because I would definitely wasn't ready for a relationship. I was not good. I was not in the place. And I would say up until recently, I never even had sex with someone who I had a genuine connection with. Like recently when this person it came to it was like just because before it was just,
Meh.
yeah. And
So wait, so you like finally found a sexual connection, or like I misheard you? I'm sorry. You.
I connected the mental connection with the sexual connection. I finally had sex with someone who I connected with on more than just like a physical
Level. Okay.
yeah.
Okay. I got you. I got you. We're on the same page. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know where you were going with that too much, but
I got confused.
that was me stating that like I have no recollection of even real soulmates because I finally just had sex with someone I cared about.
Oh, okay. 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 Okay.
And then going back, the first I thought soulmate, which was awful,
Oh.
was let's just say no, not that one. The first was a brother's I was completely in love with for probably a good 3 to 4 years. My don't make me out to be the bad guy. Yes, it was my brother's girlfriend.
Okay. Okay. I I
But
don't want to hear you out, but I'm gonna hear you out.
thank you. You're being open. Thank you.
I'm gonna try to hear it and hear the what in the fuck possessed you.
First, okay, yes, they dated in high school. They dated. I think like sophomore to their junior year. I'm a year younger. So then they were single their whole senior year. And she was dating another guy who was like younger than me and they're a grade higher than me. Not that we have to get in the whole grades. That's what I mean. I don't know why I'm setting the scene. I'm setting the scene here. That
No,
doesn't
I like to
sense.
set the scene, but and it shouldn't be weird because everybody's in school and it's not weird. But as an adult, it's like, oh, anyway, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah. But so she's dating this other guy and they're still hanging out friends. And then I'm just starting to, smoke the marijuana. And then
Love it, ganja.
yeah, we all start smoking that we become all like best friends because then like my brother gets me into smoking and they're just friends. She's literally dating this other dude.
Yeah.
They would buy weed and I would go smoke with them and we would drive around in her car around Houston smoking and like we just hung out smoking every day and then me and her became friends. Like they're just friends.
Oh, okay. So it was just an innocent.
Yeah. Like yes, they did date. Yeah, but
did you ever? I guess my question is that it was friendly intentions when it started out, right? But were you ever attracted to her, like when your brother was with her?
yeah, they broke up and me and her were even closer friends. And then they were a year out of college and I was doing my senior year. They were doing community college before then we did because then I'm gonna fast forward a little bit. We all then went to the same college and like her parents got us a house to live in, like bought a house, that we were all staying in.
Let it the fuck up. Okay.
Yeah, they got back together maybe the end of my senior year. So maybe a year and a half after they broke up.
Oh, so they got back together.
Yeah. But the thing is that me and her became good friends and she's telling me even then she doesn't want to, but doesn't want to like say anything. Like she's okay like hooking up every now and then with him.
With him. Okay.
Like because they just had history. So getting dick, getting like homeboy.
You know each other's bodies.
Yeah, that's
connection. Even if it's old, it just I feel that. Okay.
Yeah. And then he's telling me, I remember in the parking lot in Houston in Katy, the Kohl's parking lot. He's like, I'm thinking of asking this girl to get back with him. And I was just like, as I'm developing feelings for her, as she's saying she doesn't want to. And like, what am I going to say?
Well, and that's what I was about to say. How do you even, once you get into that situation, how do you explain to your brother, like, oh, by the way, we built a friendship and like, I want to fuck your girl now, even though it's not your girl, but.
Yeah. And I can't help that we all hung out every day and everything. And then yeah, and you would even see like if I like these movies, she's liking these movies. She wants to go watch what I want to watch. She doesn't want to see what he wants to watch. Like we're connecting on everything. Like
More.
anything I want to do, she wants to do what I want to do, not what he wants to do. He does
Yeah.
it because she does, which may, and so I felt like it was very innocent, and then we moved, and then it only got kind of worse. He might have found out later in life, but I don't know. It was just, we just never talked about it. But yeah, that was the first soulmate. And that ended kind of badly because her then next boyfriend pulled a gun on me. So,
Oh, so we'll talk about that one day because
yeah.
I'd love to dive into that. We can talk about crazy stories. I feel an episode coming on because, yeah. But anyway, okay, so that was your first soulmate. We thought your first soulmate was your brother's girlfriend. Guys, don't yell at him until he at least explains the story because I'll make him go in depth another day when he's ready. But until then, can I say respect it? I don't know if I can. I don't.
You had my back. You're a therapist right there. You're patting me on the back, it make me feel good, and then you just slam me at the end.
Well, no, it's like a sandwich. You know what I'm saying? You let people know what they're doing, then it's like, well, you could not fuck up here, and then you end with something positive. But that's okay. It's another day. We don't have to talk about that now. But okay. I want to make you answer for the people. Okay, so that was your first soulmate.
Yeah. And then my only other romantic was, I thought at the time, which now looking back, not to minimize anyone, but it was nothing. But the mutual friend we had at where we worked and we met.
See, and that's what was always so crazy to me. I think that you can agree on this while we're talking about how maybe that's your soulmate. Sorry, my necklace was bugging me. I just love her. You guys were so cute together. So I always thought that it was more than what it was, but I think it was one of those things where maybe possibly the other party thought.
No, I mean, like I said, at the time it was, I guess, no, she was definitely a temporary soulmate.
Oh, okay, yeah,
or short term, even short term. You can do short term soulmate.
Because they were wonderful guys. Like if you saw them together, super cute. But okay, so you thought that this was possibly, was a temporary soulmate. Okay, so why so?
Just because, no, she was an amazing person, and at the time, like too good for me. But I wasn't ready to be the person I was in a relationship yet. Like take me now and put me in that situation. Yes. Who knows?
Yeah, but then
out of the relationship. Yeah.
That's crazy. Oh, damn, I'm upset now because now that you said that, it reminded me of the friendships because I remember the first night that you and I genuinely got to sit down and speak outside of work. It was on this topic.
Oh, was it? Oh,
it was. Because you were confused. And so it's crazy because that was the first night that, like, when it comes to friendship soulmates, I knew that you were one of mine because we were at that party and it was just you and I. We literally stayed outside until 6 o'clock in the morning, just getting fucked up and talking all fucking night in the backyard. Everybody else was asleep or they were inside bullshitting, and me and you was just outside, and he was like, man, yo, I don't know what to do about this. This is how I feel about this. And so damn, yeah, I was sad. I'm proud of you for taking the time away from that like temporary soulmate situation because that could have ended bad. But as far as I know, you guys everything ended on good terms in that situation, right? I mean,
yeah. Oh, yeah. We were still talking like through the past few years up until recently when little Shawty got a little pregnant. And
she is so cute, yo. Yo, but we can talk about that later, but she's so cute, yo. Like, she looks so good. She looks so good.
I think she's getting the baby fever over here.
For me, oh, hell no. Listen, I tried to get them to take my motherfucking uterus. Them bitches told me no, and that I had to have a man sign off. But we can talk about that another day too. Yeah. You have to be married and your husband has to approve for you to have your uterus taken out. Yeah, that's the thing. Or you can have 2 kids, and after that, if you decide that you want to have your tube side or something, you don't need nobody's permission. Different topic for another day. But so that's the only 2 romantic Relationship soulmates?
It wasn't up until honestly, like, okay, I thought it was still 2020. So now, man, let's
2021.
just say this. That's what I'm saying. So it goes now a year and a half now almost. But it was like the beginning of 2020 where I actually like thought I was genuinely ready for a relationship and was like open to one.
Okay.
And to where then I did some dating. I did and did this thing in New York where I went on same bar, went like 10 different Tinder dates. And
You're one of those guys can't even take the bitch to a different spot. You meet me here.
it is Tinder. I pay every time though.
You meeting me here. This is a spot.
It was my neighborhood bar, okay?
Okay,
And
no judgment. Okay.
I realize you can't do much on Tinder because it's like the same thing every time. Hey, blah blah blah. You buy the drinks, have a good time, and you hook up. Like
Or you
not,
don't.
huh?
Or you don't.
But I'm a nice guy. I buy the tab, and I'm a great conversationalist.
What
So
does
if
that
you
have to do with you putting a dick in it afterwards? You know, that's
hook up does not mean a dick in the ass or a dick
I
in the.
didn't say in the ass. I said afterwards.
Oh, I thought you said. I'm
Just
like,
because you pay the tab, Mister. You starting to sound like one of those. I'm so fucking nice. Why can't?
no, because I
Why can't
prefer.
I find a girlfriend? Because you're a misogynistic fuck. Okay, not you, not you, not you.
I'm just salty because my friend Vish in New York, he says he's insulted if a girl doesn't like offer to split the tab and like split it.
What is he, Indian?
Yeah.
I say that because I come from West Indian bloodline. But
Oh,
they
I thought the name Vish. I thought that's what brought it away.
because my family's from Trinidad and Tobago, and West Indian men
those are.
they pay for no, but that's what I'm saying. They pay for everything. So he was insulted that she didn't pay for half the tab.
Well, he wasn't saying one specific. He's just saying he lived in New York about as long as me, maybe. But he said he gets insulted in New York if he goes on a date and she doesn't offer to pay. And then up until like now, like the person talking to now is like completely comfortable, everything, regardless, like everything you're describing, everything, everyone. And I was just like, yeah. So I don't even want to like mess around with like the other stuff anymore.
Yeah.
Obviously, you're not messing around with the other stuff anymore.
Oh no, definitely not. Like I'm good to go in that aspect. But what happens to this third soulmate? You said that you're still interested. You guys still talk. That's still
Oh yeah, it's our Hispanic friend's cousin.
okay. So what makes you think do you think that this person is like go back to the scales. You think it's a possibly short term? You think it's your actual soulmate? If that's
But see, this is what I was also saying about how I wish I would treat my lover soulmates like I do my friends.
yeah.
Just enjoy the moment for what they are, which I feel like, yes, looking back, it's you can enjoy it and reflect on it and kind of see what is this. But right now, I'm just enjoying whatever it is because you don't know because we don't even live in same zip codes. So
It's just more so enjoying that person's company, friendship. Again, that's like a very important foundation.
yeah,
That
and
so go ahead.
hope it's long term. But like I said,
Nobody knows.
nobody knows. Yeah. So as long as I'm enjoying the moment, that's all that matters.
Absolutely. I think it's good to live in the moment, but I just feel like now as adults, we look at soulmates differently. You know what I'm saying? There's so many definitions, so many different terms. There's so many, some people think, again, even after all this, that it's just strictly romantic, but there's so many other aspects that go into finding your soulmates.
Yeah.
Like not even to be on no polygamous shit, but it's just like your soulmates. It's going to be friend. Me personally, that's I take it into a very big, broad term. Like it's going to be friendships. It's going to be people who teach you. It's going to be relationships. It's going to be you build that soulmate relationship with your children. Like so, I don't know.
I'm excited to see who are the upcoming soulmates. I feel like we're easier. We've grown a little bit. Not easier. We're smarter about cutting off people and knowing and finding those like red flags in people.
what's healthy for you and what's not exactly. It's a lot of clearing, but you know, it goes both ways. You have to be ready to clear that toxicity out of your life, and that's a very
Yeah.
difficult situation. But I feel like we're definitely at that point in our lives to where it's like we're finding genuine, true soulmates versus I think we're looking now, we're more in the, for our terms and definitions of what we feel of a soulmate is, we're looking for more of the long term, but
I
in
was
more of
waiting
a
for you to
broader,
say it. I'm like, am I gonna pop in and say it? But you said it for me.
yeah, no, but in more of a broader aspect,
Yeah.
whether it be friendships, whether it be relationships for you. Like maybe
Yeah.
I think I'm good. But you know, but yeah, no, it's definitely a much broader term.
Oh, all right. I hope everyone finds their soulmate, whether that's teacher, friend, lover. Enjoy them.
Let us know who your soulmates are. Tell us about some of your soulmate stories, whether it be somebody who's taught you, somebody you've been in a relationship with, somebody that you've been friends with, how you feel about reincarnation. Am I crazy or is that a thing? Like let's fucking talk about it. Like let's have a conversation. If you're listening to this, tell me. I need to know.
She needs to know. Okay.
I need to know.
Get in them DMs. No.
I need to know that it's, yes, slide in my DMs. I don't even give a fuck. Like, I just need to know that somehow, some way, somewhere that what you feel about it. Because again, everybody looks at it differently, but I feel like this is a very logical aspect.
Oh
The
yeah.
way that we think about it. Does that, not that everybody else isn't logical, but makes sense.
Yeah. Well, thank you for all that great insight, Bree. Thank you so much.
Thank you for letting me ramble for the past 3 hours.
Oh no, I love it. Yeah.
Now that you got me to stop talking, I can't shut the fuck up, but that's okay.
All right. We'll see Bree next week. Everyone rate, review, like, subscribe. This is a Modern Man podcast presented to you by the Modern Podcast Network.